G'day mate, Clint Anderson here. Well, in this month's digital download, we're going to be talking about leads, how to get the correct lead on a horse, why it's important to get the correct lead, when do I start asking a horse to get the correct lead, what happens if he doesn't pick up the correct lead. So anything revolving around leads, not lead changes, just getting the correct lead is what we're going to be covering this month, okay?
I'm Clinton Anderson, and I have a method for training horses. Getting horses to behave is simple. It's training people that's the real trick. Join me as I tackle some of the most challenging situations with problem horses and with problem owners.
So the horse I'm going to be demonstrating with, his name is Austin. He's a 2-year-old performance horse. He's currently in training to be a working cow horse, okay? So we're going to be using him. He's had about 10 months of riding by the time we film this now, okay? So let's talk a little bit about leads and kind of some general kind of information about this particular subject, okay? So, in the fundamental level of the method, I'm not worried about what lead they pick up. I couldn't give a rat's ass in the first basically 6 weeks what lead they pick up, okay? All I'm worried about is getting a good solid foundation on my horse, okay? Walk, trot and canter confidently on loose rein. One rein stops, the bending exercise, yield their hindquarters, draw to a stop, back up. I'm looking for just a good solid foundation. I'm not worried about collecting my horse. I'm not worried about what lead he's picking up. All I want him to do is have a good, solid, safe foundation on him. So usually fundamentals will take you anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks to complete it, depending on how much you're working with your horse. You know, if you're working with him 6 days a week, it'll take 4 or 5 weeks and you'll be completed with it. If you're a little bit longer, it might take 6 or 7 weeks, okay? And it also depends on how good you are, of course. You know, probably as a good rule of thumb, if you allow 6 weeks per level, 6 weeks fundamental, 6 weeks intermediate, 6 weeks advanced, you'll be in pretty good shape. Now that's if you're really studying and you know, working with your horse for a good hour and a half, 2 hours every single day, or 6 days a week, okay? So why am I not worried about collection and picking up the correct lead in the fundamental level? That's like trying to worry about how neat your child's handwriting is when your child has trouble even reciting the alphabet. If we can't get the alphabet right and write it on a piece of paper what it's supposed to be, why in the hell are we worrying about how neat or unneat his handwriting is? Let's just get step 1, A, B, C. Let's get the alphabet solid and in good shape and the child understands it and can write it. Then we'll start getting a little critical about how well they write it. How do they keep it between the lines? The shape of their C, the shape of the L, etc. Okay? People on a colt try to get too technical too quickly, and it usually ends up in a wreck where the horse gets nervous, upset, starts speeding up, running off, the owner's frustrated, the horse is frustrated, and it's kind of just a big mess, okay? I will tell you this right now about leads with horses, okay? If your horse has any degree of talent or is smart at all, they very quickly figure out this. Left circle, left lead, right circle, right lead. I don't really teach my horses how to pick up the correct lead as a good rule of thumb in my performance horses. They just figure it out, okay? And I kind of tell people this is a joke, but it's kind of more than a joke, to be honest. I always tell people, if you have a horse after 6, 7 weeks of riding him, but he can't figure out left leads, left circle, left lead, right circle, if they can't figure it out, just get rid of them. Meaning that you can't fix stupid. And that pisses people off when I say that, but reality is this. In my performance horses, I'm trying to beat the world's best horseman. I can't do it on a dummy horse. It just doesn't work, okay? So you can't fix stupid. So I always tell people, If your horse after 6, 7 weeks hasn't got a pretty decent idea, left circle, left lead, right circle, right lead, I'm not saying he can't make a good trail riding horse. I'm not saying he can't be a good recreational backyard horse. I'm not even saying you can't teach him to pick up the leads. But as a good rule of thumb, it's not a good sign that your horse is terribly smart if you're doing what I tell you to do if he doesn't figure that out within 6 to 7 weeks. That's why I'm just telling you, they just kind of figure it out by themselves. So when I say I don't care, which is true, but the smart ones will figure it out very quickly. Because a horse that's cantering on the incorrect lead, it's very uncomfortable for them. So if I'm on a left circle, but I'm on the right lead, it's like I'm crabbing sideways around the circle. It's very uncomfortable for a horse to lope like that. So in the performance horse world, we call it good leaded horses. A good leaded horse means if he's going left and he's on the right lead, he will naturally do a flying lead change and end up on that left lead, or he'll drop to a trot, pick up the canter again on the left lead. Because he doesn't want to feel uncomfortable. If he's on a right circle but on a left lead, he's discombobulated. It won't feel very well, okay? So it's important to just keep that in mind. When your horse is smart, he'll figure this stuff out very, very quickly, okay? So some horses have been loped with only on the one lead for many years on end. Those horses can be more difficult. So we'll talk about like the stubborn leaded horse that's 10-year-old gelding, he's only loped on the left lead for 8 years now, and how do we get him on the right lead? So that'll be kind of a separate subject we'll pick up. But as I'm talking, these things that I'm talking about right now are what I'll call like standard practices with 2 or 3-year-olds that you're starting under saddle or green broke horses, okay? So, fundamentals: walk, trot, canter on a loose rein. Guide, not leaning left or leaning right. Draw to a stop, back up, little vertical flexion at the walk. Yield his hindquarters. He's just a good, solid broke horse. Once we have that foundation on him, then we can start getting pickier and asking for collection, asking for a collected lead departure, etc. Okay?
Like what you see? Then get the app, join the club, and watch it all. Anytime, anywhere, on any device. Experience the mobile method today.
The number one exercise when I start specifically, like when I'm doing in the fundamental level, when I'm doing the Cloverleaf exercise, okay? Well, you know, here's where it gets a little confusing. Cloverleaf and the rollback exercise are not actually in the fundamental level. They could have quite easily gone into the fundamental level of the method. But the fundamental level of the method goes for 26 hours as it is. So when I was dividing up the method between fundamental, intermediate, advanced, I had to make some breaks somewhere. I couldn't have the whole method be 77 hours of fundamentals. So I had to find some breaks to divide the 3 kits up. So I could have quite easily put Cloverleaf exercise and rollbacks on the fence in the fundamental level. So when we're training horses here at the ranch, when I'm starting my colts, or when we did academy horses and so forth, we add the rollbacks on the fence and the Cloverleaf exercise into the fundamentals level. More towards the end of it, but we add those 2 exercises into it. So typically in fundamentals, we've got the cruising lesson, walk, trot, and canter. We've got follow the fence. We've got the diagonal exercise. Okay, they're our main kind of exercise in the fundamental level. It'd be easy to add rollbacks on the fence and the Cloverleaf. So if I'm doing the Cloverleaf exercise, okay, I'm doing the Cloverleaf exercise, it's very important that I'm worried about straightness. I'm not worried about what lead he's on. I'm worried about, does he guide on a nice relaxed rein? Is he going straight? Is he guiding where I'm telling him to go? This is whether I do it out in a pasture. You've seen me do the Cloverleaf exercise out in the pasture, or if I'm using an arena. Same thing, okay? So, leads don't worry about cruising lesson, follow the fence, Cloverleaf exercise, diagonals. None of those exercises I give a rat's ass about what lead they're on. When I start getting into rollbacks on the fence, now I do start the care. Now I don't initially care straight away, meaning this. I'll just start the rollbacks on the fence exercise, okay? And I just get the basic exercise kind of under control. Right circles, left circles, rollbacks on the fence. You know, if the horse dives in, turn him out. Just get the basic exercise under control. Well, after maybe a session or two, here's what happens. The really smart, good leaded colts, they'll just very quickly figure out right circle, right lead, left circle, left lead. Some of the colts that aren't naturally leaded or aren't real bright between the ears, we're going to have to do more things to encourage them to pick up the correct lead. See, the rollback on the fence exercise is a very small loping circle. It's under 50 feet in diameter, probably about 45 feet in diameter. When they are loping that tight of a circle on the wrong lead, very uncomfortable for them. When they get on the correct lead, much more comfortable. So they have an incentive to either do a flying lead change and get on the correct lead, or they drop to a trot, then pick the lead up, okay? So initially, when I do this at clinics, I'll have the student do the exercise in front of me, and I don't care what lead they pick up. And usually after about 10 minutes of doing this exercise, I'll say to the audience, does anybody notice a difference? And somebody will raise their hand and say, yeah, the horse is picking up the correct lead almost every time. And I said, yes, that's what they do. That's why I love the rollback on the exercise fence, rollbacks on the fence, because it does so many good things at once. It teaches your horse left circle, right circle, stop, left turn, right turn, pick up the left lead, pick up the right lead. It teaches him to collect himself. Talk about one exercise that gets so many benefits, that's it, okay? And you can do it on a relatively green colt, a colt with not a lot of training on him, okay? So, let's go from here then. I'm going to go over to this fence, and we're going to talk about some things that some horses will do. So we're going to assume now that we're through the fundamentals. He can walk, trot, and canter on a loose rein. He's quiet, gentle, safe, he's guiding well, etc. Okay? So, for shits and giggles, I'm going to try to make this post here the center of my circle. You always want to have some sort of center of your circle. So I'm going to make it right here. Okay? So in the beginning, like with him when I lope him off, I'm not going to ask for a correct lead. Okay? I'm just going to lope him around. Now typically, when you start loping circles, they're going to be somewhat egg-shaped. Okay? The horse is going to dive in certain areas. Like right here, I feel like he dives in right there. So I just turn him to the outside. So right now, I don't care what lead he picks up. He's probably going to get it. Now right then he dove in. So I'm just going to turn him out. Anywhere the horse cuts the circle down or tries to, cut it in shape, like right there again, I just turn him out. I don't make a big deal of it. I don't get after them. I just redirect their feet. Okay? So now right there again, he dived in again. So my first priority when I do this exercise is, can I get some sort of a round circle? That time he didn't dive in. And they'll drop to a trot. I'm trying to treat him like he's just started this exercise. Okay? So now I've got my circle better. So now what I want to do is I'm going to come in to this fence, preferably at a 45-degree angle. So I've got a little, well, he's a little flat here. Let me move his hip out. I've got a little angle right here, like a little wedge. Remember, here's the center of my fence. I've got a little wedge right here. And as I come into that wedge, I let the fence basically stop him. So I say the word whoa. I draw his nose into the fence with my left rein. With my right leg now, I press with my right leg right where the girth is or just behind it. And as I turn right here, when you get just past halfway in the turn, is where you really drive them out of the turn. Watch this. They're here, they come through, there. Drive them out of that turn. And by driving them out of the turn, you are basically forcing them to get that lead. it's very difficult for them to pick up the incorrect lead. Okay, I just stopped him again. I'm going to move his butt over just a little bit to exaggerate this. Okay, so I've got a wedge here, 45-degree angle to the fence. As I come through, once I get just a little past halfway in the turn, is where I drive him with this new outside leg. So I'm going to turn, lope. And if you do this with enough energy in your leg, they can't help but pick up the correct lead. They have to get that lead, okay? Where people make the mistake is this, is if you let the horse turn and you don't drive him out and now you let him trot, often he'll pick up that wrong lead again over here. So if you're doing this exercise and your horse keeps picking up the wrong lead, that's a dead giveaway that you are not driving him out of the turn enough. Okay? Ready? I'm going to turn here. Drive out of the turn. So you might have to kick him with your spur. Sometimes if I've got a real lazy one, I'll hold the end of my McCarty reins here, or a little dressage whip, and I'll whack them on the shoulder. Like as they come, I'll whack there and drive them out of that turn. Okay? So here's a good rule of thumb that you can always bank on. If you're turning and the horse is picking up the wrong lead, so I'm doing a right circle, but he picks up the left lead, you can take to the bank you are not driving him out early enough of that turn, or you're not driving him out with enough velocity, enough energy. Because what he does is as he comes through the turn, he bows his rib out and picks up the other lead again. So some horses are a little bit numb, so I'm going to whack them on the neck, whack them on the shoulder as they're turning. Okay? Or I'll kick them with my spur. I don't give a shit what you do, but do enough to get the job done. Okay? So the rollback exercise, when done correctly, with any horse with any degree of brains or talent, they very quickly figure out left circle, left lead, right circle, right lead. Because the circle is so tight. Remember, it doesn't work, this exercise, when the circle's 80 feet wide. It's got to be about 45 feet in diameter, 50 at the most. Okay? Like as a good rule of thumb, I'll step off the fence like 10 or 11 large, anywhere between 10 and 12 large big steps, like almost 3.5, 4 foot steps. Okay? Something like that. Just get it. That's a good rule of thumb at a clinic, is I'll just go to the fence and take 12 big steps off, and it's a good rule of thumb I can keep the horse in front of me. Okay? But if this was a huge big circle, it wouldn't work because it gives the horse too much time to get on that incorrect lead. Okay? So that's how I start teaching them to pick up the correct lead, is just by doing the rollback exercise. And I might do that exercise 2 or 3 days in a row and then leave it alone for 3 days and bring it back for 2 or 3 days. I don't do it every day, but I usually do it 2 to 3 times out of a 6-day ride. Okay? So once they're consistently picking up the leads like that, then you can start getting a little more pickier about getting them to collect in the lead departure, etc.
Want more? Get more. The No Worries Club is the best way to get the most out of your training experience. Stick around to find out more.
Hey mate, Clint Anderson here. For the past 20 years, I've devoted my life to creating the best training tools and videos available to help bring my method to you. But there's only one problem. You can't bring your TV into the arena. That's why we've been hard at work developing a new platform to deliver the method to you in a whole new way. A way that brings 20 years of horsemanship and puts it in the palm of your hand. Introducing the mobile method. It's part of the new Down Under digital experience, and it makes learning the method easier than ever before. Let me show you how it works, mate.
Now you can always have access to the method, even when you're on the go or at the barn. The Down Under Horsemanship app gives you access to your digital training kits and allows you to download videos and training content directly to your mobile device or view them on your computer. The Down Under Horsemanship app also offers over 86 hours of free, in-depth training content. No Worries Club members will have full access to Clinton's ever-growing training library and a massive amount of members-only features and information. And the best part is, you can view and interact with each lesson on your mobile device or computer, giving you ultimate access to the method anytime and any place.
The method is the key to getting the most out of your partnership with your horse. We want everybody to experience the difference it will make. That's why we created 3 new ways for you to get the training content you need at the price you want. Our basic level allows you to purchase and download training content to your device at our standard price with no annual fee. When you become a No Worries Club member for $19.99 a month, you get up to 50% discount on any of your purchases. Plus, you get 8 digital videos and 4 digital journals a year, and access to the No Worries Club website, the largest collection of method material and resources in the world. Plus, you can become part of our social network and chat with thousands of other folks just like you. If you want the ultimate experience, mate, the premium membership is for you. You get all the benefits of the No Worries Club, a printed copy of our No Worries Club quarterly journal, and access to all of the method and the professional series kit training videos. Altogether, that's thousands of dollars of horse training and 20 years of horsemanship delivered right to your fingertips. So there you have it, folks. The new mobile method app is the easiest and most effective way to deliver the maximum amount of knowledge at a minimal amount of time. And with the new No Worries Club, you can be assured you're going to get exactly what you need at a price that's right for you. It's a free download, so what are you waiting for, mate? Get started today.
Start your digital training experience today. Visit our website and download the Down Under Horsemanship app to experience the method in a whole new way.